So we saw the difference between Sat and Asat by the correct means of knowledge. It is very important that when we gain knowledge of anything, the means be correct. Otherwise, we will not get a correct knowledge, understanding of that object. So that's why the means have to be correct. So when we determine what is Sat and what is Asat, Sat, which never changes in the 3 periods of time, Asat, which is constantly changing, and that is why it is false. Not that I don't see it at all and it is false. No, 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 I do see it, but because it is changing, it is matter, it is considered mithya or Asat. And then in 17, the description of that which is Sat, Avinashi tu tadvidhi. Understand it to be absolutely indestructible. It can never be destroyed. Yena sarvam idam tatam. It is in and through the creation. It never gets destroyed. It is not subject to any change. Avyaya. It doesn't decay. It doesn't change. Maybe it doesn't get destroyed, but maybe it is changing. No, it is not changing. And maybe it doesn't destroy, but somebody else can destroy it. No, nobody else can destroy it either. It cannot destroy itself, and nobody else can destroy it. And this is the answer to Arjuna's question. I am going to kill them. That's what Bhagavan is telling him. You cannot kill them because they are all Atma, because they are Atma, not the body. You cannot kill them, and they cannot kill you either. And they are not going to die anyways, because as Atma, nobody dies. This is what he's telling. Antavanta ime dehaha. This deha has an end. This body has an end. So one is the physical death, but the death that we need to aspire for is to falsify it. Once we falsify it, it is as good as dead to us. Like I always give you the example of the flu virus. Once we take the flu shot, the flu virus is as though dead for us, as though it has ended for us. So that's what it, not that it is not there, it is there, but I'm immunized, so I have got nothing to worry about it. That way, once the body is falsified, in the sense only in your mind, you do not physically destroy the body. There's no point in that. So in your mind, the body has to be understood as only a vehicle of yours, not you yourself. Then the body has ended for you. Once you understand that you are not the body has as though ended for you. That is what he says. And then the embodied self is nitya. Sharirinaha, the one inside the body. So the dehi or the jivatma or the atma is indestructible. Anashinaha, indestructible. Aprameyasya, we saw. It cannot be known. So cannot be known by the senses, that which cannot be known by the senses. And therefore you should fight. Not that Bhagwan is instigating him to fight. He had come to the battlefield to fight. Bhagwan is only removing the obstacle which has come in between. The obstacle is the delusion that he is now having, that I am the body, they are the body, I'm going to kill them, and how can I kill them? That's an obstacle. That's all Bhagwan is trying to remove. And then in 19 and 20, he negates doership and enjoyership by saying that yaenam veti hantaram, the one who takes the self to be the slayer, means I am that self, that Atma, and now I am killing somebody. That means what? You are actually the Atma, and if you say I am killing, that means Atma is killing. That is how it is. Okay? Atma doesn't kill, but I am taking myself to be Atma, and I'm saying I'm killing them. So Atma doesn't do that. And also Atma doesn't get killed. That also. Yaenam veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam. Or those who think, oh, they're going to kill me. The one who thinks like that also cannot kill me, because that me is Atma. I am Atma. So they cannot kill me as the Atma. Yeah, they can destroy my body. Okay, fine. But they cannot kill me as the Atma. And then I as the Atma also cannot kill them. So there is the negation of doership. And once doership is negated, enjoyership is automatically negated. So this doership and enjoyership is something that we take on. It is not inherent. That's why you see a baby, that tells you this doership. The baby, anything comes, that baby will put in the mouth. Even if a snake comes near it, the baby doesn't know. Baby will probably start putting it in the mouth, touching it, everything. There is no doership in the baby. As it grows, then it starts, and this is my toy. When a very small baby doesn't know, this is my toy, my parents, anybody picks it up, anybody this thing. So this doership is not inherent in us. Means we are not born actually with it, but we develop it as we go. As the ego develops, then this is my room, this is my toys, this is my space, these are my parents. All this me and mine is added on. And as we grow older, it's more and more. Then my friends, you are my friend, and then you are not my friend, and then you have your, then my car and my clothes and my jewelry. All these go on adding, 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 adding. So it is not we are born with it. If we were born with it, even a baby should have said, don't touch my clothes, or don't touch me, you, I don't know who you are. Baby doesn't say that. So these are not inherent. In verse 20, he negates the inherent changes. A baby is born, even if you don't want it to grow, it is going to grow out of its crib, diapers, clothes, automatic. Growth is automatic. That's why it's inherent. So in 20, inherent changes are negated. In 19, taken on changes are negated for Atma. This is for Atma, okay, not for the ego. So we were on 20, na jayate na mriyate. I told you, not born, not dead. So the modifications in between are automatically negated. Nayam bhutva bhavita vahana bhuya. Not that it was never there before. He has already said that all these people were there before. So I told you all the people are there before as Atma. So he's talking about Atma. So there was not a time when Atma was not there, and there will not be a time in the future when Atma will not be there. Maybe, okay, it is there today, but maybe tomorrow it won't be there. No, that is also negated in Atma. Ajaha, so Ajata is a repetition of na jayate. Ajaha, it is unborn. Nityaha, eternal beyond time, because birth happens in time and ends in time. But because it is nitya, it has no birth because it is beyond time. Shashvata, negating change. So Shashvata word is used to indicate that there is no change, because I told you in the 6 modifications, one is a change, growth, disease, decay, death, all these are changes, and Purana takes care of growth. So growth is where there is an addition of cells, change is where there is no addition of cells. So Shashvata and Purana, they take. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Here hanyate should be taken as change, because again there is a Pakshi who says, oh, Bhagwan is repeating himself, you know. He said that it doesn't, mriyate, he doesn't die, he said, and then na hanyate, he doesn't get killed. It's a repetition. So Bhagwan Shankaracharya clarifies, he says hanyate should be taken as there is no change. So there is no repetition. If there is, it's okay. Hanyamane sharire. So change, he is not killed when the body, hanyamane sharire. Yeah, sharir changes, sharir gets killed, but the sharirinaha, the atma, doesn't change and never ever gets killed. So this way, the inherent changes and the taken on changes, those which we take on, the doership and enjoyership is something we take on by saying, I am doing, I will enjoy. This is how I take on. It's not inherent, but these changes are inherent in us in the body. When I say us, I mean body, okay? There is no inherent change in Atma. And this is what Bhagwan is negating in these 2 verses. They are from Kathopanishad, but he has taken them. The most of, you will see other verses also which are from Kathopanishad. Most of the content of Bhagavad Gita is from Kathopanishad. Ishavasya has the seed of chapter 3. Ishavasya mantra 3 is the seed of chapter 3. So that's from Ishavasya. Of course, this is a general, in a sense, all the Upanishads say, but Kathopanishad is the main thing from where quite a few verses are there. Okay, next. Any questions so far? All right, we'll go ahead. Veda vinashinam nityam yaenamajam avyayam katham sapurusha partha kam ghatayati hantikam. Whoever knows him to be indestructible, eternal, unborn, and inexhaustible, how can that man slay, O Partha, or cause others to be slain? Now, Gurudev has put it as a question mark. It is not a question, it is an objection. It should be taken as an objection. So, what is the objection here? It's like, see, if I say, oh, it's raining outside, how can I go for a walk? If it is a question, then what? There'll be an answer. What is the big deal? Take an umbrella and walk. It's not a question. There is no answer. Bhagwan is object. Bhagwan is wondering. It's a wonderment. Like one who knows himself to be the Atma, and knows here is realizes him. It's a realized master. Once you realize yourself to be that Atma, which is not doing anything, which is not enjoying. Not enjoy means it doesn't have doership, enjoyship. It doesn't have birth. It doesn't have death. It has no changes in between, because you might say, oh, no birth, but in between it changes, which has absolutely no changes, which is absolutely unmod. How can people think that this is how Bhagwan is wondering? There's a wonderment. Bhagwan says once he knows to be the self, then how he can think that he's killing somebody? Because once I come to know that I am the self, immediately, please understand, immediately that realized master also knows that everybody in the world is the self only. There is actually nothing other than the self in this entire world. Now, if I come to see the self only everywhere, first of all, I'm not going to see any kind of duality. Killing is in duality. You are something different than me, then I can kill you, or you can kill me. If I don't see that duality at all. And not only that, I come to realize that absolutely nothing can happen to Atma. How such person will think that he is killing or he's getting killed? This is what Bhagwan is wondering. It's a wonderment. Okay. So this is the whole thing. There's a huge commentary on this one, but we need not go into it, because the Purva Pakshi is saying, oh, but Atma doesn't kill, but he's the body is there, and then body kills. No, it doesn't work like that. One who recognizes himself to be the self can, Bhagwan says, it's like shrugging shoulders, like, if I know that I'm the Atma, then how can I say that I'm killing somebody? I say I'm doing because I'm thinking myself to be the body, mind, and intellect. That's why I say that I'm doing, and that's why I will say that now I have done, and I will enjoy the results of this action. That is the thought process behind that. And that the takeaway, what we should do as spiritual seekers is, we should never give up action. We cannot give up action. Eating is an action, breathing is an action, sleeping, TV, watching, everything is that we cannot give up action. But even when you're doing the action, please understand that the body is doing the action and I am only facilitating that action. That sort of mindset has to be developed. It's like when I'm sitting in the car and going, the car is moving, I am not really moving. This is how that mindset has to come. That will come with studies, like a lot of reading of all our Prakran Granthas and Bhagavad Gita and all. That sort of a mindset has to come in every action. Yes, I am going to do this action. I am going to help somebody, or I am, go here, go there, do whatever for myself or for others. But know that it is happening. I am not doing. It was supposed to happen that way. That's why it is happening that way. So if you can keep that mindset, okay, remind yourself every time, it'll help. It'll help in separating yourself from the body, mind, and intellect. Okay. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihani naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnan anyani sanyati navani dehi. Just as man casts off his worn out clothes and puts on new ones, so also the embodied self casts off its worn out bodies and enters others which are new. So this is an example that Bhagwan is giving, and this is this is the verse which is very often chanted at funerals. So if there is somebody who is on the spiritual path, or even if they are not, but they know Bhagavad Gita, and they are asked to give, talk about the person gone, they will. I would start with this verse. Okay, so Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya. Vasansi clothes, jirnani old. Once the clothes get old, then what does the person do? Naroparani, this person, this man or woman throws out those clothes. We don't know. Value Village is there, Salvation Army is there, Big Brothers is there. Not only that, when they get old, we get bored of the clothes and we give away clothes. Okay, that also is there, getting bored. Sometimes it's not a question of getting bored, it's a question of a different event, and we will change our clothes. So, there is class, so there is a particular type of attire, then I want to go play tennis, or I want to go swimming, or I want to go for a party or whatever, I'm going to change my attire. So the body remaining the same, the clothes go on changing. That way, this Jivatma remaining the same, it drops this body and moves into another body. So that's why at funeral they say, okay, this Jivatma has now left the body and it will take another body, like we take new clothes when our clothes get old. Now, in case of the Jivatma, it is not necessarily that the body is getting old, because we do see young deaths happening, which is sad. We see young death. So in the case of Jivatma, the Jivatma's purpose of being in that body is over. That's why we give the example of like right now I'm in class and I need a particular type of outfit. So then after the class, the need for that outfit is over, because I want to do something else. So then when that need of that outfit is over, I'm going to go change my clothes. That way, this Jivatma, when this Jivatma decides when to leave the body. So that Jivatma decides that this body that was useful to me to fulfill my n number of vasanas, I have fulfilled those vasanas in this body. This body is no good to me now. It drops the body. And it doesn't bother. There are young children, there are old parents, there's a wife, there is this, there is that. And if the Jivatma doesn't want to leave the body, it will not leave the body. The body will be dilapidated and it will be in bed 24/7 on ventilator, but the Jivatma will not leave. So that is why we must remember that the decision of leaving the body is up to the Jivatma and when it thinks. So this is one way of interpreting this verse. There is another way that we have to go a little bit deeper, because when we say that the Jivatma leaves the body and goes and gets another body, then the question might arise. In some minds it may have arisen, in some minds it may not, but I have to explain that. The thing might arise, Atma is all pervading. So Jivatma, when we said it is Atma plus the Vasanas, now if Atma is all pervading, how come this Jivatma is going anywhere? Where can it go? So if this question has arisen in your mind, actually this verse should be taken in one way. On the surface value, this is how it says that the Jivatma drops the body and gets another body. Now it goes. How can that Jivatma go anywhere when the Atma is all pervading? How can space go anywhere? I can move in space, but space can't go anywhere because space is all pervading. So the explanation, the other explanation is, it's like a tree. In autumn we see the leaf falling, right? And the tree remains the same. A new leaf comes on that tree. So the Jivatma is not going anywhere. The substratum remains the same. The body is dropped and another body is taken on. You can interpret it that way also. But it's very easy to understand the clothes example. Is this clear? Just as we change clothes, very, very simple. Here, Bhagwan has said Jirnani. When they get old, I told you, even we get bored, we give up the clothes. we have to change, we have to go for some other event, we change the clothes. If I have to go running after this, I can't run in these clothes, so I will change. So this Jivatma though, it is not that the body is only getting old when it drops, otherwise only old people would have died, there would have been no young deaths. But it says that my vasanas cannot be fulfilled in this body anymore, and I'm going to leave now. So it leaves. That's why I think, I don't know if I've told this story, but probably some of you may not have heard. So in Bhagavad Puran, there is a story that there was a king who did not have a child. So he did a lot of tapas, and then finally he got a baby. And so that the other queens were very jealous of this baby, because he had many queens, and the one queen, his favorite queen or whoever, got this baby, and the other queens got very jealous of this, because now she became the favorite of that king, the wife. So they, other queens, they killed that baby, they killed the baby. And when they kill the baby, the king is extremely distraught. The king is very, very distraught. So he calls Narad Bhagwan and he says, I want my child back. You do whatever, I want my child. So Narad Bhagwan says, I can bring the Jivatma, I can bring, but the body I cannot bring, because body is already burnt. So he says, doesn't matter, that is my son. So you bring my son back. So he recalls the Jivatma, and the Jivatma comes. And then the king says, oh, my son, you know, and the Jivatma says, what son? I have had many, many parents. If I keep crying for every set of parents that I have had, I will be crying throughout my life. The point is that the body belongs to the parents. The body is created by the parents, okay, from the sperm and the egg. And once that house is created, it is for rent. It is to let, you know, you have the boards, to let. Then the I enters in there. The Jivatma enters, it becomes a toilet. The Jivatma is already present. The parents can, if you say that you created that Jivatma, that means you created Atma, but Atma we already saw is unborn. So how did you give birth to Atma? You cannot give birth to Atma. You only create the body. You create the shell in which that Atma can enter. And the Jivatma then, who decides that this is the womb that I want to go in, because this is where my vasanas will be fulfilled. That Jivatma chooses the set of parents and goes into that parents, goes to those parents. This is a very shocking principle. People get shocked when I tell them this, but this is the reality. This is the truth. And that's why you find that the parents are sometimes very highly educated and the child is not, or the parents are not educated at all and the children become highly educated, because that child has brought its own destiny with it, because that Jivatma it's not, but the body is given by, so that's why the body looks similar to the parents. I was asked that question also in one of my classes. They said, oh, but the children look like, yeah, body looks like you. You have given the body, no? We are not saying you're not. You have given the house. How? But the tenant, that is another thing Gurudev used to say. If you rent, if you have a property and you have rented, then the tenant decides how long he's going to stay there. So Jivatma is like a tenant. We get attached to that one because we think I have given birth to this. Yes, you have given birth to the body, but not the Jivatma. Otherwise, then you're giving birth to Satchitanand principle. You cannot give birth to the principle. And that's why that tenant decides, this is the womb that I want to enter, and now I want to leave this body. Okay, this is how it is. All right, it'll get easier, huh? It's coming now. We are coming lower now. Now Bhagwan in 23 says, Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapaha, na shoshayati marutaha. Weapons cleave it not. Fire burns it not. Water wets it not. wind dries it not. Remember the it, I is capital. So he's talking about Atma. I told you these verses are referring to the highest, the absolute reality. So Atma, it cannot be cut by weapons. Think about it. This Atma is subtler than space. Can you even cut space? Arey, forget space, air. Can you cut air physically? Can you cut water physically? What, even those elements we cannot touch. So that which is even subtler than space, how can you touch? How can you touch? This is one explanation. This is the simple explanation. Okay. So that's why the transcendental truth. So this is transcendental. It transcends the space. So whatever space can do. Normally what you will see, if there is a weapon, okay, in weapon there is astra and shastra. So astra is something that astra is something that you let go. So a bomb, you know, you will throw a bomb. And shastra is something which never leaves your hand, which is a sword. So there are these two types of weapons, astra and shastra. I mean, in English, it's only said weapon, both are weapons. In Sanskrit, they differentiate. But anyway, whether it is astra or whether it is shastra, whatever weapon it is, that weapon cannot, you know, a bomb blast is there. You think air gets destroyed? Air only gets polluted. Space, does space get destroyed by a bomb blast? Whatever houses were there or buildings were there, they will get destroyed, but space itself cannot get destroyed. Now this is transcending, Atma is even transcending space. So how Atma can, the elements can touch? Nayanam dahati pavaka. Fire normally will burn everything, right? Fire will burn, but fire cannot burn Atma. And then clay, the apa water. See, over years, millions and millions and millions of years, even the rocks get, by water flowing on it, rocks are also reduced. We have seen that, right? Agreed? So water can destroy that way. And then air can destroy by drying. So these elements can destroy things. They can destroy things, but they cannot touch Atma, because Atma is subtler than space. Is this point clear? Okay. The next point, the deeper point in this is that Atma is the absolute reality and these elements are the transactional reality. So if I were to give you an example, in dream, if I am hungry, I need dream food only. I cannot satisfy my dream hunger by the real food that is in my fridge, because these are two different realities. There is an illusory reality, which is the dream, and then the so-called real reality of the transactional world. So my fridge in the house is real and the food is real in that. Okay, that is all real. Then I'm dreaming. Now I go into sleep and then I dream, and in the dream I'm extremely hungry. So that food in the fridge, which is considered real, cannot appease my dream hunger that way. Or in the dream, I have a whole lot of fridge, but I dreamt that I have a fridge full of food, but when I wake up, my fridge is empty. Then that food cannot appease my hunger in the waking world. That way, because this reality is an absolute reality, it's a different level of reality, and then there is a transactional reality. Anything in the transactional reality cannot touch the absolute reality. Technical explanation. Is that clear? Clear? Everybody's clear? Okay. So none of the elements can touch it. That is what? Touch it, change it, destroy it. This is how Bhagavan is establishing the fact that Atma is absolutely untouchable. It's an untouchable. You cannot touch it. You cannot destroy it. You cannot change it. It does not modify. Okay. Achedyo yam adaryo yam akledyo shoshya evacha nitya sarvagatasthānuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. This self cannot be cut. Here there is one comment by Bhagavan Shankaracharya. Let me read this. This self cannot be cut, nor burnt, nor wetted, nor dried up. It is eternal, all-pervading, stable, immovable, and ancient. So the not criticism, Purva Pakshi says, what is the point Bhagavan is repeating again and again? Has he not said this before? Shashwata word has come, Sanatan word has come. Has he said no birth, no death. Now, why is he repeating again? Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that please understand that this is not a very easy concept to understand. Okay, so that is why this is being told to us in different methods. Whichever resonates with you, take it. Not all explanations might resonate. Some explanations you might find like totally unbelievable, like the story of the king of the Jivatma. People get shocked. People have got shocked in my classes when I have told them that. But honestly, that is the God honest truth. This, I cannot change that. Okay, so this is why Bhagavan says that if you think that he's repeating, it is for our understanding and to confirm and reconfirm that that is the correct thing, because this is talking of absolute reality. This is the only real thing in the whole entire world. Everything else is mithya. Okay, so that's very hard for us to grasp. That's why. So achedya, it cannot be cut, it cannot be burnt. So cutting by weapons, sword or whatever now modern weapons we have. Adahaya cannot be burnt, so fire cannot burn it. Akledya cannot be wetted. So both these, there he used the actually the elements. He said you cannot, water cannot wet it, fire cannot burn it. Here he's saying that again. It cannot be dried because death can happen through dehydration. Na? That's why body, they say, oh, keep it hydrated, because that can happen. So the body can be dehydrated, but Atma can never get dehydrated. This is what is being said. And then there is Nitya, eternal, beyond time. Sarvagata, all pervading, so it's everywhere in and through the creation. Sthanu, stable, and Achala, immovable. So these two words again feel like they're repetition. They're not. So Sthanu and so stable and immovable. Stable is also, that's what it is, stable. It's very steady, so it's immovable. And immovable, that which cannot be moved. So with Sthanu, there is two types of steadiness. So a tree is also very stable, very steady. It does not move, but there is a movement within it. So the leaves shake in the wind, the branches shake in the wind. The actual whole tree will not move from one place to another, but within it, there is a movement. And that is what is Sthanu. That is what is referred to as Sthanu. Whereas Achala is like a mountain. So a mountain physically also doesn't move, but within the mountain also there is no movement. And that is why this Sthanu and Achala. So the question can arise that, okay, Atma is immovable, but maybe within it there are changes that we don't know. Or maybe there is within. So that's why, to negate that not only that there is no change overall, but within it also there is no change. Just like the tree doesn't move, but the leaves can move. Maybe Atma is like that. No, it is not like that. It's like the mountain, which is stable, and then within it also there is no movement. Okay, that's what is stable and immovable. This ancient, it is very ancient. So again, ancient also is beyond time. Like I told you, it's been there forever, and it will be there forever. It's ancient but new, because every moment we have a different new moment. It's ever fresh because it never gets old. All right. Okay. Any questions? Or I'm going to do one more. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchate tasmad evam viditvainam nanushochitum arhasi. This self is said to be unmanifested, unthinkable, and unchangeable. Therefore, Knowing this to be such, you should not grieve. From here, 25 to about 30 or 29, 20, 28 maybe, the 4-5 verses now, this last portion will be repeated. Na anu shochitum arhasi. These last words that are there, nanu shochitum arhasi, the break of that is na anu shochitum arhasi. Do not grieve. And this is the main principle of Vedanta. Why should we study this spiritual knowledge? Why should we do this? This is it. Na anu shochitum arhasi. You will never grieve for anything. If you don't want to grieve for anything at all, you need the background of this spiritual study. Otherwise, you will be grieving, and ignorant people grieve constantly. They're constantly miserable. Any little change happens, they're miserable. A spiritual seeker is better, a little bit better. He knows, she knows. And a realized master is the best. He will never grieve. Later on in one of the chapters, Bhagwan will say, even the greatest of sorrows will not shake him. Realized master, even the greatest of sorrows that comes, it will not shake him, because now he has hooked on to that Atma which never shakes. We are hooked on to the log of wood, like I've told you. So we will keep shaking. Little wave here, there, we will keep shaking. But if you hook on to the lighthouse, you will never shake. Okay, so this na anu shochitum arhasi, very important, says there is no, you should not grieve. Now Bhagwan is coming down because Arjun was grieving, wasn't he? He was crying, he had horripilation, he could not think, he was grieving, and the reason he was grieving was because he thought he's going to kill people. Okay, so therefore now Bhagwan talks to him at different levels. Now Bhagwan is going to start coming down. Now he's coming down. Okay, so the first thing he says is, if you come to know yourself as Atma, as I have explained to you, Sat Asat I explained, Avinashi Tad Vidya I explained, Na Hanyate Hanyamane I explained, Na Jayate Na Mriyate, I explained to you what the nature of that Atma is. Now if you consider yourself to be that Atma, which is unmanifest, is not manifest is something which the senses can perceive, unmanifest is something which the senses cannot perceive. Okay, so it is unmanifest, so means senses cannot see it. This self, unthinkable, means it is beyond the mind, means mind cannot think of it. You have to transcend the mind. So he's transcending the body by saying the senses, body, unthinkable, mind, unchangeable. It doesn't change. We have talked about this. It is said, therefore, if you understand yourself to be that Atma, what is there to grieve? What is there to grieve? You are not born, you are not die, you will not die, they will not die, you think you're killing them. Whoever is dying is actually not dying. So what is there to grieve? Na anu shochitum arhasi. Remember these words. There is nothing. That's why spiritual masters, they say there's nothing in this world that you should be crying for. There's nothing. This is the highest standpoint. This is what now Bhagwan is. He will start coming down. He will give different standpoints. If you consider yourself to be the body, etc. I'm going to stop here.